I thought I'd read some of my highlighted passages from E.M. Foster's The Machine Stops. It was one of my favorite um, novellas, I call it, short stories. It's pretty short and it's pretty damn good. I would say it's pretty like prophetic of the modern world. And I guess he wrote it in the 20s or the early 1910s, and he was seeing this like push towards modernism, and he thought of like I don't know, it just like must have been like a vision of like this increasing mechanization of society and automation and push against human individuality to collectivism or something like that. I don't know, but it really sums up like the modern world, and it was written more than 100 years ago, probably, right? So I just thought I was like read some of my highlighted passages that I had. He says here in the story, he says, "You talk as if a god had made a machine," cried the other. "I believe that you pray to it when you are unhappy. Men made it, do not forget that. Great men, but men. The machine is much, but is not everything. I see something like you in this plate, but I do not see you. I hear something like you through this telephone, but I do not hear you. That is why I want you to come, pay me a visit, so that we can meet face to face and talk about the hopes that are in my mind." It's pretty damn good. I think I'll probably read this over one day. I have a next highlighted quote here. "In the airship, he broke off, and she fancied that he looked sad. She could not be sure, for the machine did not transmit nuances of expression. It only gave a general idea of people, an idea that was good enough for all practical purposes." Pretty damn good, right? Like Instagram or something like that. Let me see if I have any more highlighted quotes here that I liked. I have one. "And after all, she must be brave. And after all, she must brave the journey if he desired it, and something tremendous might happen. What do you mean? The nonsense of a youthful man, no doubt, but she must go on." Again she pressed the unfamiliar button. Again the wall swung back, and she saw the tunnel that curves out of sight. Collapsing the book, she rose, tottered onto the platform, and summoned the car. Her room closed behind her. The journey to the northern hemisphere had begun. Few traveled in these days, for thanks to the advance of science, the earth was exactly alike all over. Rapid intercourse, from which the previous civilization had hoped so much, had ended by defeating itself. What was the good of going to Pekin when it was just like Shrewsbury? Why return to Shrewsbury when it would be all the same like Pekin? Men seldom moved their bodies. All unrest was concentrated in the soul. Pepkin, maybe not Pepkin. I don't know what I said, but yeah. Here's the next passage I read. I'll just probably read up to 5 minutes and then stop. Let me get in the center frame here. She thought the attendant had been unfair, and spasms of rage shook her. The glass valves had closed. She could not go back. She saw, at the end of the vestibule, the lift in which she had ascended going quietly up and down empty. Beneath those corridors of shining tiles were rooms, tier below tier, reaching far into the earth. In each room there sat a human being, eating or sleeping or producing ideas. And buried deep in the hive was her own room. Vashti was afraid. Rita's hives in her own room, bees in the hive. Doubtless the committee was right, yet the attempt to defeat the sun aroused the last common interest that our race experienced about the heavenly bodies, or indeed about anything. It was the last time that men were compacted by thinking of a power outside the world. The sun had conquered, yet it was the end of his spiritual dominion. Dawn, midday, twilight, the zodiacal path touched neither men's lives, not their hearts, and science retreated into the ground to concentrate herself upon problems that she was certain of solving. just read one more passage that I highlighted. People were almost exactly like all over the world, but the attendant of the airship, perhaps owing to her exceptional duties, had grown a little out of the common. She had often to address passengers with direct speech, and this had given her a certain roughness and originality of manner. When Vashti swerved away from the sunbeam to the cry, she behaved barbarously. She put out her hand to steady her. "How dare you?" exclaimed the passenger. "You forget yourself." The woman was confused and apologized for not having let her fall. People never touched one another. The custom had become obsolete, owing to the machine. I think that's a good place to end this one.